Well, hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the hashtag TFR
TFR.
Motivation Monday Zoom. We are Dr. Dondi and Marcy Nettles, and we are your co-hosts today. We've got two unbelievable special guests for you tonight for the main topic of the Zoom call. But before we get into that, let's just tell them about this YouTube channel we got going on.
You know, we
How
know
they can
that
get involved.
not everybody can be on here with us live every single Monday night, or maybe you're like us and you want to go back and just review it again, right? So just make sure that you go to YouTube and you find Team Freedom Reigns there, subscribe, but also ring that bell so that you get notifications when we upload new content. So YouTube, Team Freedom Reigns.
Yes. Welcome to the monthly marketing playbook. If you have not heard those words or seen those words, you are missing out. Since March, the company has been devoting a significant amount of time into social media resources, shareables, podcasts, all kinds of cool information, blogs, in this monthly marketing playbook. So go into your back office site, log in and check this out. And the topic of the product topic this month is the True Science skincare line, the 4-part skincare line that makes people look amazing.
I love that too, because it's an amazing Christmas gift. And we've got, like Black Friday, Cyber Monday, all that kind of stuff coming up this month. So exciting. Plus on the monthly marketing playbook, you're going to find everything to be able to get your new business partners started properly and launch them fast with the launch guide, your first touch videos, and the new overview video that LifeVantage has created for us. On top of that, you've got the direct link here where you can download the new LifeVantage app, which it is phenomenal. It has streamlined it and made this business actually simple to do. Not easy, but simple.
Yeah, you know what's interesting? Before convention, we had the Flintstones car version of our LifeVantage opportunity. And after convention, we've got Lightning McQueen version. That's what they gave us here.
Plus, you're going to find information on the new program that's going to launch on the 4th this week.
Yes.
The Customer, Friends, and Family Discount Program. This is going to be huge.
So cool.
This is where you're actually going to be able to help your customers give discounts to the people that they love and care about, and then get a discount in return once those people check out as customers. So that's going to start November 4th. But before the end of the week, we're also going to have corporate made assets, videos, memes, all that kind of stuff for you to be able to use to educate your customers, as well as them receiving emails from the company. So the link that they're going to use to share out to their friends and family is going to be found in the same place that they manage their order. So this is going to be super seamless and simple.
You know what I think is going to be the next trending hashtag?
What?
Hashtag give 10, get 10.
Yeah, it's going to be awesome.
The flip the business switch promotion. The company's done this twice. So this is our most cash rich promotion we've ever done as a company. And this month specifically, there's an extra $600,000 in the pool for those shares. There's 3 ways we can make money in this flip the business switch. The first one is you sell. Tell people about our products and let them buy them from you, going for the pool shares. Enroll 5 accounts. So whether it's customers, distributors, a combination, doesn't matter. 5 new people into your business with a PV total of 500 or more, and you get a share. And you get a portion of that extra $600,000 that was thrown in there on top of the amazing pool that was already there.
Yeah, there are some qualifications here, but congratulations, first of all, for our October hashtag pool party qualifiers. Congratulations, way to go. And by the way, there is room inside the pool for everybody. And you can get as many shares as you want. Just ask Marjorie Ham.
Yeah.
I mean, how many shares did Marjorie get?
6 shares, 31 customers. Last month, Marjorie, unbelievable. Great job.
Such a great job. And Bob and Laura also got 2, but congratulations to everybody. And hey, let's at least double this number, if not more, of people that get the hashtag pool party shares in the month of November, because they have really fattened that pool.
Seriously.
Once we hit 20,000 in new enrollments in the month of November, they are going to throw in an extra $100,000 into the pool to be split up amongst the people that qualify. And then once we hit that 30,000 new enrollments, which is something we've never done here at LifeVantage, had 30,000 new accounts in one single month. So we're going to break records, and we're going to increase this pool to a whopping $500,000 more than it was. That's going to be huge.
See that guy in the upper left-hand corner of your screen there? That acting CEO, CFO guy, Mr. Stephen Fife. I think he literally lost his mind. at convention because the previous month that we ever had the most enrollments was 27,000. He says, I'm going to put my money where my mouth is. If we have our best month ever, which is above 27,000, hit 30,000, he's throwing an extra $500,000 in the pool.
That's huge.
Wow.
So exciting.
That's unbelievable.
So the second way that we can make money in this promotion is reaching a new rank. Okay. So if you reach the rank in November and then maintain it next month, you're also going to get a maintenance bonus. So whether it's Pro 3, 4, 5, or 6, you're going to be able to make extra money by ranking up.
Look closely. Maintenance is twice as much money. And then the mentor, helping someone you personally sponsored rank advance. You will get a mentor bonus for that, starting at Pro 3 at 75, all the way to Pro 6 at 625. You see how it doubles kind of, and then it kind of doubles again. And then, whoa, what the heck happened between Pro 5 and Pro 6? That's unbelievable. Go for it, guys. Lots of money on the table there.
Yep. So now, you guys, we open up these calls to everybody that's part of LifeVantage. We love having you here. You're part of our family. But for this thing, this is part of Team Freedom Reigns only, okay? So what we've done is we've actually sweetened the pot even more. Every single week, we are doing team drawings. How do you get a ticket? You simply check out a new customer or enroll a new business partner, and you get a ticket for each one of those. And every once in a while, we do double ticket days or triple ticket days.
Freaked out the other day and did triple ticket day.
Yeah, I kind of like to do those kinds of things. It's kind of fun. But every single Wednesday, we have those drawings for kind of cool prizes. Yep. It's fun, right? But from September 1st through the end of October, we were actually putting all of those tickets into one big caddy here. And on Wednesday, when we do our weekly drawing, we'll be doing the grand prize drawing as well. And what is that ticket? What is that for? That is a ticket to the virtual GoPro Recruiting Mastery. Thank you, Kim Jakes, for that. It's a $300 value. One lucky winner is going to grab it. Yep. And we'll be going live in the Team Freedom Reigns Facebook page on Wednesday for the weekly drawing and for that grand prize drawing. And we'll also be announcing what the grand prize will be for the month of November. All right, guys. So be looking for that. And if you want to purchase an Eric Worre ticket, just get with Kim Jakes, Elite Pro 7. She's got some of those that she can get you at a discounted price. Yes. This promotion, we keep going back to it because it's the most cash rich. It's worth talking about. And this 25 or Operation 25 ITT positions you perfectly for success in this amazing promotion. So I want to ask, how many of you are going to claim your place in the Operation 25 ITT? Are you going to commit to it? Commit to it. Because you got to commit to it. You have to make the decision. You have to go for it. But how do you actually do ITT? Well, this is the system that we have company-wide now. It's invite to a tool and then introduce to a team member to get their questions answered the best way for them. So here on the launch guide, you've got amazing sample scripts. Seriously? But your first touch, you've got your own on your replicated website. So whatever your business name is, .lifevantage.com, and then the /US-EN-flip is where you're going to find that first touch video. And then for the recorded LVO or overview, it's just going to be the /learn. Or to make it simple, you can go to biohackingaging.com. We've updated that site too to have those there very simply. Otherwise, your website with flip or your website with learn. You don't have to put the US-EN, that's already embedded. So those are the videos that the company has provided for us. What about live opportunity overviews? Well, tomorrow night, we've got the Flip the Switch opportunity overview. You've got Elite Pro 9 Bert DeBrois that's going to be presenting tomorrow night. That is at 7 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. Now, guys, you're going to notice here on this next slide, we are no longer doing TFR Tuesday night LVOs, okay? Because the company is, compete with corporate? Right? We're not going to do it the same night as they are, because guess what? We're back in the saddle. We're doing our own Operation 25 ITT, each of us. And so we are going to be inviting to these LVOs, but we will still continue to do them for you on Thursdays and Saturdays. Thursday night is going to be at 6 p.m. Pacific time. Saturdays is 1 p.m. Pacific time. And then you can figure out the time zones from there. And we will be uploading these for the month of November to Big Blue Calendar as well. It's always the same Zoom link. Yes, Success Mastery. As we said, the product of the month is the True Science skincare line. And because this is the first Saturday, we're going to be diving deep into that skincare line. So expect some scientific type people to get on there and share with you how they're promoting this, looking at the scientific side of it and what they're doing to grow their business with it. Yep. So every Saturday, 10 a.m. Mountain Time, make sure you have it in your calendar. This needs to be a non-negotiable. If you're serious about your success, you must attend Success Mastery. Yes. Now let's get into our topic. I'm super excited to introduce these two gentlemen
We were on a call a few weeks ago, and they did this presentation, Integrity in Business, and Greg and Ted were doing it. They did a masterful job on describing the difference between, first and foremost, keeping your word versus honoring your word, and the importance of integrity in business, and what it means to hold yourself and the people around you, hold you accountable. And I thought it was so powerful that I asked them to deliver it to you guys today. They instantly said yes. And I'll introduce Greg. I've known Greg a little bit longer, and I know Greg a little bit more, but Ted is an absolutely phenomenal leader. They're both phenomenal leaders, but Greg is an author. In fact, he's the author of what I believe is the most important book in network marketing, because it's the only book that will truly tell you, if you read it, you will know definitively whether or not, first, network marketing is for you, and how to be successful if you determine that it is. And if more people read this book, we'd have a lot more leaders in network marketing than we currently do. And well, let me just put how important this book was. Mark Yarnell wrote the foreword to it. And if you're familiar with Mark and Renee Yarnell, they wrote probably the most popular and well-known book in network marketing called Your First Year in Network Marketing. That's the kind of caliber of book this is. That's the kind of caliber that author and leader that this man, Greg Hartmann, is. He's also a forum leader, and I'll let him kind of fill in the blanks, but he's one of the most amazing minds I've ever heard of and spoken with about network marketing. And Ted, and I don't know Ted as well, but the times that I've sat down and talked with Ted personally, I get the same caliber of leadership from him too. So Greg and Ted, would you please join us today and just bring to the team integrity in business, and you guys' take on this. We're so honored you're here.
Dondi, thanks. And Marcy, thank you both. So I want to start first by thanking you guys for allowing Ted to be on to speak to the whole team. Obviously, we're part of your downline. My sponsor is a fairly new Pro 6 by the name of Cynthia Greenawalt. Cynthia and I have known each other 30 years. We actually met in a network marketing company. So I've been around the industry a long time, and I'm going to give the short version of my LifeVantage story. But I actually met Dondi and Marcy the first time at a red carpet event. Given my background in network marketing, I was invited to a red carpet event, but I actually went as a consultant to Cynthia. She was like, you wrote that book. Would you come? I'm looking at doing a major career change. Would you come help me analyze a company? It won't cost you anything. We'll get to see each other. So I came. I got to meet Dondi and Marcy. And given what was going on in my life at that time, at the end of the meeting, I was sitting straight across the table from our CEO at the time, Darren Jensen. And I said, wow. I said, I've known about your company for years. Nobody has ever shared the science and the patents with me. After sitting here all day, I still have no interest in building a network marketing business, but I want you to know you've got a customer for life. And Darren actually thanked me for that. He goes, I appreciate your candor. I'd much rather have somebody tell me that than, tell me they're going to do all these great things and then go off and do nothing. Well, that was about 2 years ago now. And why I couldn't commit is I was caring for my dad full time. He had Alzheimer's disease. He passed away in February of this year. And interesting timing event, because right when my dad passed, within weeks after that, the pandemic hit and the lockdown came. And that's when I really reassessed what I had in my hands with LifeVantage. And not only what an opportunity was for me at that time, but what an opportunity it is given the world conditions, right? And somewhere along the way, being a network marketer, it's not like I did nothing for 2 years, because I was taking the products, and you know how it is, you can't help but talk about them. And then I'd get somebody started, and another friend started. And Ted and I met. I sponsored a guy in the business, and the only thing he did, his second day in the business, he called me up and he goes, hey, I don't have a lot of time, but take down this number. You need to call this guy. And I'm like, okay. And I literally called Ted, and I'm like, you don't know me, but this guy David told me I should call you. And here we are 2 years later. We have a great friendship and a great relationship. So as Dondi said, Ted and I did this presentation, and it was very much a couple of weeks ago, but it was really based on what we were dealing with in the business. So having all the experience I have and knowing everything I know, it buys you nothing, right? I mean, it's good to have all that knowledge, but the thing about knowledge is when it makes a difference is when it's actually applied. To know something and not use it does nobody any good. And just because you applied it once 2 years ago, that doesn't matter right now, right? So, you know, I've done a lot of work in leadership and integrity. So Ted and I had this great partnership. I was helping him build his business. We were working very closely together. And then some point a few months back, Ted sold his primary residence and he also had a rental property that he sold. And then, you know, if you've ever sold real estate and had to move and all of that, it disrupts your life. There's just no way around that. So I expected he'd be gone during the move and the sale and all of that, which he was. And he told me that. He goes, look, dude, I got so much on my plate. You know, you're not going to hear from me for a couple of weeks. And I'm like, yeah, I got it. You know, if you need anything, you know, I'm a phone call or a text away. And then I said to Ted, and I'm going to explain our conversation, and then I'll let Ted share his perspective. But one day, weeks later, probably a month later, I called Ted up and I said, buddy, we got to talk. And he's like, about what? And I said, well, I know you had to move, but I feel like you left for the move and you never came back. I go, that's my experience over here. And Ted started laughing and he said, yeah, that's kind of my experience too. And so we talked about what happened. And, you know, Dondi, I think, titled the thing about, you know, keeping your word and honoring your word. And I'll make that distinction. But I also like to say it in another simple way. And my dad used to tell me this. So, you know, have me be present to my dad that's now passed. But it's kind of like doing what you feel like versus doing what it takes. And I remember when I was in my 20s and I was struggling with something and my dad put his arm around me. My dad and I had a great relationship. And he said to me, he always called me son, right? And he's like, son, sometimes your best isn't good enough. Sometimes you got to be willing to do whatever it takes. And why I say that, because that's this business and achieving any rank. I don't care if you're going for Pro 2, Pro 3, Pro 5, Pro 9, Pro 10, it doesn't matter. Your normal methods are only going to get you so far. So how do you move past those? You actually need what I call an accountability partner, somebody you can partner with that you can make sure they're keeping the promises they've made to themselves. But as important in that relationship, they get to hold you to keeping what you say. So it's really a two-way street, right? So I said to Ted, I said, and by the way, if you're going to create a relationship like this with somebody, it can't come from any kind of heavy-handed or domineering or controlling place. It's got to be really a partnership based on love and support. And, you know, I'll share a little bit about Ted. When we went to our first conference, I think it was Kansas City together, and we shared a room, right? His wife, Nancy, didn't come, and my partner at the time didn't come. So it was Ted and I being roomies for the weekend. And the first night we had this really great conversation and I got to know him. And I'm like, you know, I love this guy. Like I've got a brother and a friend in the business. Okay. So that's really got to be in the background with whoever you have, because there are times in the business where you've got to have really straight conversations with people. You know, you've heard the cliche tough love, right? But it really is those tough love conversations. So when I called Ted and I'm like, you know, I feel like you left for the move and you never came back. He's like, yeah, I know. That's, you know, how I feel. And I said, well, you know, what I've really noticed is we talk and you say, I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that. And then you don't do it. And then I call you and you have 20 excuses, and they're all legit excuses, by the way. But then you tell me again, and then it doesn't happen. And having done leadership as long as I have, I know if you're doing that in one area of your life called the LifeVantage business, I promise you're doing it everywhere, because it's a way of being, and ways of being are holographic. They're everywhere. So the problem is then people get overwhelmed because they think, oh man, I got all the stuff that's out in my life. There's no way I can get it all in. So you experience this really huge loss of power, right? So I said to Ted, does this ring a bell? So Ted, I'm going to flip it to you, and I want you to share, you know, like your experience of life at that time and everything that was going on.
And thanks, Dondi and Marcy. Great to be here with y'all. Yeah, Greg and I, you know, it was interesting. We hit it off in Kansas City. It was Greg's book that was the piece that got me over the hump when I was doing my due diligence, you know, before I actually joined LifeVantage. And we have a lot in common, a tremendous amount in common. And I discovered a lot of that while reading the book. But I did a lot of the leadership training that Greg actually led. So, you know, it was a very familiar conversation. And so when Greg, you know, pointed out that my behavior was not consistent with my word, what I was telling him I was going to do, I knew he was right, and there was no denying it. As a matter of fact, it was almost a relief because my experience of my life at the time was I was exhausted. And the reason I was so exhausted was because of the emotional baggage that I was carrying around from telling my partner, my accountability partner and friend, Greg, that I was going to, you know, show up here, do this or do that. And I was overwhelmed in my life, you know, and it did start around the move. But as Greg pointed out, that's what happens. It's my word was not honored all over the place in my life. And as a result, you know, I was carrying around the baggage of saying something and then not being true and doing what I said and feeling guilty about it and really, you know, beating myself up. So then it became easier to just not show up at all than to show up and acknowledge and take responsibility for not doing what I said I was going to do and what was so important to me to do. So
yeah, and Ted, it's really great. I want to jump in here and say something. So, you know, those of you that are listening, if I can't see you, but if I said raise your hand if you've experienced that, look, we all have. And the problem is it's overwhelming. So we just kind of just go hide, we disappear, we go into stealth mode, whatever you want to call it. So I said to Ted, look, you won't get everything tidied up overnight, but here's what you can do. You can pick one place, one item where you say, I'm going to do this no matter what. Like, I'm going to pick something and I'm going to promise it, and then I'm going to do it. It's kind of like you haven't gone to the gym in a while and your muscles are atrophied. Yeah. And, you know, if you tried to work everything full bore the minute you went back, you'd be in the gym and never back. But if you said, I'm just going to go in and I'm going to get on a treadmill and I'm going to do a mile, you know, and I'm going to do that every day and I can keep that, then you begin to build that strength back. So I said to Ted, well, look at your LifeVantage business and pick one thing you can commit to, and let's partner on that and start there.
Yeah, so we made it, you know, I thought about it and I said, okay. And what I agreed to was planting 3 seeds a day. I said, I can do that. And that's what I'm committed to doing. And that was, you know, probably the beginning of the week. I think that particular week, it was on a Monday. And then I think a day later or something, maybe 2 days later, something got in the way and I didn't get my 3 seeds planted. And Greg, you know, we talk every morning and we, you know, I let Greg know what I accomplished for the day and I hadn't accomplished what I had committed to. Greg says, there it is again, buddy. You know, there's that behavior. And so sure enough, that's exactly what was going on. And so I had to confront that deeply in myself and say, you know, am I going to do this or am I not going to do this? Well, sure enough, the next day is a Wednesday, and Wednesday, I've had a long-standing commitment for 35 years. On a Wednesday night, my night is very full of this long-standing commitment. So, don't you know, at 10:20, I arrive home, 10:20 p.m., and I hadn't, I hadn't got my 3 seeds planted. So, was I going to go to bed and face the music in the morning and have to acknowledge that there it is again, one more time? I didn't follow through on my commitment. And that was the line in the sand that I drew. And so I had to start making calls and reaching out. And at 10:20, I went to work. And what happened as a result of that is all that baggage that I had been carrying around for so long from not doing what I said I was going to do, which is one of the principles, one of the main 5 things that we do in this business. Always do what you say you're going to do, right? And I almost actually couldn't wait for the call with Greg the next morning, because I knew that that was, as saying goes, throw your hat over the wall, and and I had done it. So I know how important it is to have an accountability partner and somebody that I personally, it helps all of us with this business, with life in general. I used, last time we did this, I used the analogy of the gym. I never want to get up at 5 o'clock in the morning in the middle of the winter and go out and climb in a cold car, to go to the gym to lift weights. But when I had an accountability partner that I had to do that with every day, that got me my butt out of bed on those cold mornings and got me there. And that was sometimes the only thing that got me there. Same thing in this analogy here. Knowing that I am accountable to my partner, Greg, just makes the job so much easier. And so, that's kind of what I wanted to share about that.
Ted, that's awesome. Ed, I want to say a couple things about what you said, and then I'll flip it back to you for anything you want to say to wrap up. But the first thing I want to say is that morning after Ted came home at 10 p.m. and then did, like, I'm going to call them Midwest, California, people I know there, whatever it takes, I'm not going to bed till I get my 3 in. When we talked at 8 the next morning, there was a different person on the other end of the phone. Yeah. Like, I could hear it in his voice. I could feel it in his energy. And he's like, dude, I pushed through it. Like I'm in a different place. And he has been ever since, right? So that was one thing. But the other thing it did for me is it raised my game. Because if I'm going to be that for Ted and I'm not going to be a fraud, then it's like, oh shit, I got to do what I said, because I'm getting on and I'm telling Ted, hey, I'm doing 3, 2, or I'm doing 2, or I'm doing 5, whatever it is. So the other piece I want to add to this, so you don't get, it'll give you a lot of freedom, but there's a distinction between keeping your word and honoring your word. And in life, if you're going to have big results, you got to make big promises. And if you make big promises, you won't always keep them. So you won't always keep your word, but you can always honor your word. So what does that mean? It means I said I'd do 3, and then I get on with Ted the next morning. I said, look, Ted, I said I'd do 3. I only did 1, because now I'm honoring what I said, right? I'm treating the words I spoke with honor, right? So I only did 1. So I want to clean that up with you so we complete that. And then you can do whatever you want. Sometimes, look, I'm just going to restore it. You can count on my 3 today, or you can be really unreasonable and say, look, I'm going to do 5 today. I'm going to do the 3 I normally do, plus I'm going to make up for the 2 I didn't do yesterday. Okay, but that's the distinction of honoring your word. A simple one is, and I do this all the time, and people that are friends of me know this. 1, I'm rarely late, because time is a place we can honor our word. Like if I tell Dondi I'll meet you for coffee at 9 a.m. I'll be there at 9 a.m. I'll probably be there a few minutes early because I like to plan for sometimes you have breakdowns that can get in the way and you still want to be on time. But if I show up to that meeting and it's 9:02, I'm going to look Dondi dead in the eye. I'm going to say, look, dude, I said I'd meet you at 9. It's 9:02. I want to acknowledge that. And in the future, you can count on me to be on time. Okay, what I've just done by doing that is I've honored my word. Now, it's funny. You'll watch people, they'll be like, oh, dude, don't worry about it. It's only 2 minutes. No big deal. But I'll always stop people. I go, well, maybe not for you, but to me, it's a big deal. Okay? See, because I want to treat my word with honor because that's our power in life. You know, if you say I'm going to be pro 7 or I'm going to be pro 10 or I'm going to be pro 5 and you actually honor that saying, and then you look at what are the behaviors that get me there, and then you promise those to people and you honor those, you'll get there. And even if you have breakdowns, it's not if you're going to get there, it's just when, you know? So it doesn't matter if it's 2 months or 6 months or 3 months or 2 weeks, but you will get there if you create a partnership like Ted and I do. You make promises to each other and you keep honoring them. So Ted, to wrap up, I just want to flip it back to you and see if there's any parting thoughts or words you want to share.
Yeah, well, no, I just want to thank you again for putting that distinction out there, honoring our word versus keeping our word. I think that's such an important distinction for people to understand because it does give us the power. Like you say, there is always going to be breakdowns, and the bigger the promise, the more likely that a breakdown will happen. So that's it. I love our partnership. And that is one of the things I love so much about this business and
Exactly.
our team as a whole. And Dondi and Marcy, I thank you for your mentorship and just the whole big family that we have here. It's a tremendous honor and joy to be part of this team. So thank you.
Oh, it's an absolute.
Yeah, Ted. You know, I want to say one thing, Downey, then I'll flip it back to you. It's what I love about network marketing. It's an environment that allows us to create these kind of relationships and these kind of friendships and get this kind of training. You know, we live in a mañana society. Hey, dude, no big deal. Let it slide. Let it that. And you know, that doesn't empower people. And what I love about a network marketing company and the relationships in the community you create is you get this kind of training, you get this kind of support. You're part of a group of people that's there to nurture, uplift, love, and support each other. And, you know, in this day and age, I think the world can use a lot more of that. And I'm just glad at least we have this little piece of it that we're committed to expanding globally. And of course, proud to be part of Team Freedom Reigns and these two awesome leaders I'm looking at, because I know they embody a lot of what we've just talked about on the Zoom tonight. And Dondi and Marcy, with that, I'm sending it back to you.
You guys are amazing.
Thank you guys so much. And I just kind of have to reiterate what I said when we initially invited you guys after that call, is that it was when you hear a call and it hits you here. There was 2 things that you said that night, Greg, and with the example that you guys just gave again, is that how you do one thing is how you do all things. While I think that is true, there are other areas where you tend to focus more attention and you let it slide a lot less than you let other areas slide, which is inconsistency at the core. And I always appreciate it when somebody truly honors that how they do one thing is how they do all things. And it kind of reminds me of Don Miguel Ruiz's book called, you know, one of the things when he's talking about is be impeccable with your word. And so thank you for that example, because that is something that I always strive to keep and honor my word, but I'm not always successful. And it's not always, it is always within my control to be for the most part. So thank you for helping me up level my game. And I think that's one of the things that's very attributable to network marketing. And they say that a rising tide raises all ships. And when you understand the far reaching nature of integrity, that becomes so true, because even though that is true, if all the ships aren't their rudder isn't in the water and there isn't some energy propelling them, they're still not going to go anywhere. And so it really becomes a personal accountability thing. So thank you guys both for that wonderful example. And I want to now share the title of Greg's book. It's called Do Due Diligence. And if you absolutely must get this book, read it for yourself. Every network marketer needs to read this for themselves. And once you do, you will have copies on hand to give to the people that you see that get it. Once they read the book, and you'll understand, you will know after they read the book, you'll just see it. It's kind of like Ted's transformation that morning at 8 o'clock when he said, he planted his 3 seeds, which is 3 reach outs, and reaching out to 3 new people, if you didn't understand that analogy. But thank you for writing the book, Greg. Thank you for the impact that it had on the profession. And I do hope that the people that have been trying to tell you to update it and put the second revision and get it out there again, I hope at some point you find time to do that, because the network marketing profession could use it. It is obviously, it's timeless. You can take the principles and move them forward. There's just more technology and more breakthroughs that we.
I'm actually working on it as we speak. It's moving a little slower than I'd like it to, but that process is in the works. And one of the things I want to say, quite frankly, and why I'm so proud to be with this company, because all of the things I say to look for in a company, like doing your due diligence, LifeVantage fits like a glove. It's like hand in glove. So it actually, people will read the book, and it'll, even if they got here because their neighbor ran to them with a product, and look at this video and it reduces oxidative stress, and they didn't know whether they got in a good company or a not good company, they can read my book and go, wow, I didn't realize what I have here, how much this company meets the criteria of a long-term successful business and what it takes.
Yeah. Love it. Absolutely love it. Well, cheers to you guys. You're amazing. And by the way, this is the orange cream Axio.
It's awesome.
If you haven't tried it, it is amazing. Actually, we've tried 4 of the 6 flavors so far, and all of them are off the chart.
I love the grape.
We haven't had that one yet. That's tomorrow.
That's next to
it.
The
grape's good. You'll like it.
So guys, there are still Axio LTOs available in the single, buying by the flavor. So you can't get the 6-pack, those are gone, but you want to get these. They're amazing. Plus then your voice can be heard when they start taking the vote, right? Which flavors do we keep? But thank you guys so much. Again, cheers. We appreciate you so very much. Your knowledge, your expertise, it really is priceless. And I love this book too. I love that you're adding to it, but I love the original too, because you did it before you came here.
Yes.
Exactly.
Well, that gives your decision on joining LifeVantage even more, just that teeth. So thank you guys so much for being here. We appreciate you, Team Freedom Reigns. I hope that you really took the nuggets out of here that they gave you. Look for an accountability partner, and let's go. Right?
Absolutely.
Operation 25 ICT. Let's go.
Yes,
awesome.
November
Thanks,
to remember. Thank you, guys.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you, Ted.
Thanks for having us.
Good night.
Good night, everyone.